Wow, I've got no brakes. Something's wrong with my brakes. Yeah, my brakes are going all the way to the floor. God, that scared me stupid. Oh no. Oh no, that's freaking bad. Okay, I now have no brakes whatsoever. Yeah, look at this, brake fluid everywhere. Oh, that's brake fluid. But now I can't stop the vehicle. You can see here, this is not good. Yeah, none of this is good. Oh man, you gotta laugh because if you didn't, you would freaking cry, mate. I've got no brakes. Oh, God. Oh, no, that's freaking bad. Oh, I can't fix that. The brake line has been crushed between the shock and the chassis. Oh, because of the orientation of the axle. Christ. Right, so here we go again with the brakes. Oh man, I don't even know if I've got brake fluid. If I haven't, I'm actually screwed, eh? I searched through the entire vehicle, hoping to catch a glimpse of an elusive bottle of brake fluid. I don't have any brake fluid. Basically, I'm carrying 2 bottles which look like brake fluid. One of them did. What it is GL5 gear oil and limited slip gear oil. And I must have, when I was in a rush to leave, thought, oh, one of those is brake fluid, one of those is gear oil, and not looked properly. Oh, dude. Friggin' hell. This is one of those moments where I can't really drive this car. Oh, damn it. My current location is the far western reaches of the province of Galicia. Stuck out on a limb into the Atlantic Ocean, this is one of the most remote places on the Iberian Peninsula, and probably Europe. That being the case, this is one of the last places you want something like this to go wrong. Galicia is a truly wide and wild land, unlike anywhere else I've been in Europe. Its rugged and sparsely populated nature make wild camping and four-wheel driving opportunities plentiful, making this place an ideal destination for overlanders and adventurers. But that is exactly what's going to work against me in this situation. In this land, help is far away, and what civilization exists tends to be small pockets of rural inhabitation. Small villages, towns at best, meaning that I'm likely going to have to battle through this problem on my own. This issue began when I inverted my anti-inversion shackles. This bent my front leaf springs and knocked everything on the front end out of whack. So I have contact between the shackle and the steering box pitman arm. These are anti-inversion shackles to prevent this exact thing happening. They should have gone the opposite way around, and what's happened is the shackle's inverted and thus making contact with everything, so it's putting everything out of whack. Unbeknownst to me, this had put one of my front shocks in direct contact with one of the brake lines, and the friction of which had now caused that brake line to rupture and fail. The brakes run on a sealed hydraulic system, and this rupture has now made it a non-sealed system, eliminating the pressure needed to brake and rendering me stranded. Alright, so I have kind of sat here and thought about what I'm going to do for a while, and the nearest town to me is 7 kilometers away. It's called Zove, and I think there's an auto parts center there of some kind. So I'm going to go and stay the night in the town. I hate staying in towns, as you know, because you can get bothered by the police, but on this occasion I think that it makes more sense to risk that than to find or try to find somewhere with no brakes off the road where all my brake fluid is possibly going to leak out overnight. I mean, I have literally no brakes. I have a bit of braking now, you know, like a little bit. Yeah, I'm thinking if I go to the town and if my brake fluid all leaks out in the morning, I could walk to the parts store, get that, put it in, and at least be able to top it up throughout the day, even if my brakes are going to be terrible, and, you know, hopefully find a mechanic after that. Oh, this was a dumb thing not to bring brake fluid. I really thought I had it, and this is just, yeah, it screwed me. So yeah, we're gonna go down into the town really slowly now, using engine braking at 6Ks. I'm just gonna have to kind of like go with my hazard lights on, but I figure it's better to do it now than in the morning with possibly no brakes, and also it's nighttime now, and so there'll be more people in the day to possibly crash into. So yeah, best of a bad situation, I'm afraid. So yeah, let's do it. I'm not freaking liking this at all. Oh, and it's raining as well. Class. I rejoined paved road for the first time in a long time and struck out into the rainy night. I still have some braking function, but it's weak and the pedal wants to go all the way to the floor. With the rupture in the line, I know that if I lean too heavily on the brakes, there's going to come a point where I have no braking function whatsoever. So getting to this town is going to be a delicate endeavour of using engine braking and only relying on the brakes if I absolutely have to. Fortunately, the 6-cylinder diesel is the very engine for this job. It's a big old beast, and the engine braking on it is super strong. With my hazard lights on, I made my way slowly down to the town, letting other cars pass me from behind. Well, I found a area, it's called Auto Servicio for auto caravans. It's for like big rig tourers and that, with like, you know, bathroom and toilet inside and stuff, but I think that I will be okay here because, yeah, it seems to be accepted to kind of camp and park here. So yeah, I'm going to spend the night here. I mean, it's friggin' bright. I'll show you it. Like, look at the friggin' lights. It's like brighter than the bloody sun, but there seems to be actually toilets there, like a toilet block, I think. So yeah, pretty good actually. I've gotten down here okay, and I just used engine braking the entire time. Didn't even touch my brakes. But when I pulled into here, I touched the brakes, and yeah, they're basically gone now. So when I wake up, I think that I'm gonna have no brakes whatsoever because the fluid will have leaked out. What a disaster. Yeah, I've just got like a full-on toilet block here, which is actually pretty bloody good. Raining quite heavily now, and the man, the brake fluid is pissing out the bottom of the car. So yeah, I'm gonna, when I wake up, I'm not gonna have brakes at all. Here's the car, illuminated like football pitch, really. Yeah, look at this, brake fluid everywhere. You see all that under there? Oh, that's brake fluid dripping out. Right, we'll get set up. Oh man, and try and figure something out for the morning. Oh, you're fucking... Just to compound matters, I can't open my roof. That's been smacked by a tree and I can't freaking open that without hammering that back. Class. Yeah, man, you gotta laugh because if you didn't, you would freaking cry, mate. One thing after another, after another. Oh, God. I would now have to find a way to bend the clasp back. Freaking piss wet as well. All right, I'm in the car, in the camper. Oh God, that was really bad for the nerves. I just got absolutely soaking wet trying to knock that bloody thing back. That's a freaking nightmare as well, honestly. I need to put those at the back of the car so they stop getting hit by trees. Okay, at least we're safe for now and we're all right. We can make a bit of a plan for tomorrow. What the hell I'm gonna do? Freaking, I have no idea. I'm probably gonna have to hike back into town. It's a fair hike as well. Get some brake fluid. It's .3 as well, mine. I don't think I'll be able to find any .3 around here. Friggin' hell. Alright, so I've just woken up here in the auto service area. So I'm gonna get out and figure out what I'm gonna do next. I looked up last night, there's a mechanic in the next town over. It's only about 1 kilometre, so I'm thinking I could probably drive to the mechanic and just hope they can help me. Let's see how much of this brake fluid has leaked out. And this is the place in the light. Ah, Jesus, yeah, okay, so quite a bit. Yeah, so this is all brake fluid. Oh, that does not bode well, that one, mate. Yeah, it's all around the... sprayed all up on the underside of the car as well. You can see here, this is really not good. Yeah, none of this is good. Not gonna lie to you. Yeah, this has been the only, I think the only time in this car in 10 years that I actually cannot continue driving. And it's my own damn fault. That's the kicker of it, because I should have changed those shackles around. Did not think it was a big deal, really. And I thought I would do it when I need to do some of the suspension work on the road. And now I've paid the price for that. Well, this is today's breakfast. It's a little bit of sweetbread. I've got nothing else left in terms of like normal bread or eggs or anything to have like a big breakfast, which I usually have. So yeah, sweetbread it is. I've got the coffee on in there, and so that will do. Get myself caffeinated, and then we'll attempt this drive. All right, it's time to figure out where we're gonna go. Try to get this sorted. So I found this place. It's an auto parts centre and mechanic. It's 1.9 kilometers away on a pretty busy road. I'm just gonna take it easy, put the hazard lights on, and cruise in there, and it'll be all right. My thought process here was to drive to the auto parts centre, get some brake fluid, put it in the car, and that would buy me some time to hopefully get to a mechanic. There, I'd get the brake line repaired and have the suspension shackles de-inverted. But this is all conjecture, and I'm about to be reminded of the truth of that old saying about the plans of mice and men. Okay, I now have no brakes whatsoever. I mean, last night I had a bit of it at least, so I could kind of stop the vehicle, but now I can't stop the vehicle. Friggin' hell. I think I'm gonna have to do something else. I'm gonna have to figure out how to manufacture brake fluid of some kind, I think, to get out of here, because yeah, this is just not an option. Beginning to run out of options, I decided to call around some local mechanics to see if there was anyone willing to help me around. Ajá, sí, un minuto, voy a buscar un bolígrafo. ¿Y son locales, como cerca de aquí, o...? Gracias por eso, voy a buscar. Hasta luego. This is the second of 2 local mechanics that I've called. So they're too busy to help me, apparently. The news was not good. Hola, ¿eres un mecánico? No. Vale, tal vez tengo el número incorrecto, entonces. This is now my 4th phone call. Every shop I've talked to so far doesn't want to know. The place I'm talking to now is 40 kilometers away. Realistically, too far to drive, with the car in its current state. Estoy haciendo un viaje en un Land Cruiser y tengo un problema mal con los frenos. Y tengo una fuga de fluido de frenos, ¿sabes? Y otro problema con suspensión, y ahora no puedo mover el coche, entonces necesito ayuda, básicamente. This guy's telling me that he's backed up with work for the next week, but that if I want, I can come and wait for a few days until he has space to fit me in. This is far from ideal, but I'm well out of other options. Si necesito quedar en el pueblo, necesito quedar, ¿sabes? Porque no puedo mover. Okay, so that guy really didn't want to help, but I guess I sounded so desperate to him that he eventually relented. He was like, well, you can bring it and we'll have a look. So now I just need to find brake fluid. I've realised that the only parts store in this town is actually a motorcycle shop, so it's time to make another phone call. Hola, una pregunta. ¿Tienes fluido para frenos? Lo sé que tienes un taller para motos, pero ¿tienes como .4 o .3 para coches? .4, muy bien, vale. So there's a motorbike parts shop in town. That's the only place that is vaguely mechanically orientated, and they have .4 brake fluid, which is good. It means that I can go into town, well, I can walk. I'm gonna have to leave the Land Cruiser. Hope he doesn't get robbed. Go buy a bottle of that, and at least that will get us on somewhere. Hopefully. Friggin' hell. God, this is bad, mate. This is really, really bad. Okay, so we're about to walk this. Yeah. I packed my valuables into a rucksack and prepared to leave. I'm gonna go get this brake fluid, top it off, and hopefully it'll be enough to get us to a mechanic. So, let's pick up the satchel and get walking. Bye, cruiser. In 10 years of driving around the world, this is the first time that I've had to leave the car and continue on foot. And the worst part is, it's mistakes that I've made that have led up to this moment. Just walking through this tiny little one-horse town. It's a very, very small town and not much going on by any means. Okay, so this is the place, Motos Elmo. Yeah, if these guys have the fluid, then I'll at least be able to get somewhere, in theory. Inside the moto shop, I finally found what I've been looking for. I quickly got it bagged up, anxious to get back to the car ASAP. Vale, gracias amigos, hasta luego. Okay, so we got 2 bottles of Dot 4, and they're small bottles, it's only I think 500 millilitres each. But it's enough to hopefully get us on. So yeah, we're gonna walk back to the car now and try and get that filled up. I struck out into the early afternoon on the long walk back to the car. Okay, so we're almost back at the car now. Looks nicely unmolested. I'm kind of thinking that probably what I'm gonna do is try and pull that shock, which will allow us a bit of room to look at it and use a bit of a fuel line to seat it up for now. I mean, the brake fluid will corrode through that fuel line in no time, I would think, but at least get some pressure in that brake system, you know, I'll be able to drive and retain fluid, which is the main thing, you know. So this is going to get messy and horrible, and I hate working with brake fluid because it corrodes your freaking hands, but yeah, gotta do it. So here we go, car. Oh. Right, I guess there's nothing else to do but make this happen. Alright, so it turns out that I didn't bring any fuel line with me either. I don't know how that got taken out during the rush to leave, but it has. Oh, meaning that I can't seal up the brake line, no matter what I do with what I have. I can't believe I've friggin' left my fuel line at home. That's like basic kit 101. And goes to show, when you're rushing to leave on a mega trip like this, like, just don't skip the making sure you've got everything staged, because there'll come a point where you'll regret it, like I am right now, stuck in the middle of freaking nowhere. Alright, so it's now long gone 1:30, so I'm not going to find an open tyre this side of siesta time, so I'm kind of not in a rush anymore, really. My only thought now was to fill up the braking system to be able to limp the car to that mechanic. Alright, so this is the brake reservoir. Obviously empty. At this point, just gotta hope. Oh, this at least gets us down the road. I look at these tiny little bottles and realising I just got totally ripped off. I paid 20 euros for these. Freaking 500 millilitres. 20 euros for a litre of brake fluid, like. Right. Let's dump this 500 in. Okay, well, the benefit of this ruptured brake line thing is that I don't think that I have to do much to bleed it. I think that I will just have to literally press the brake pedal, because I've already got a like open bleed nipple essentially, which is the rupture in the brake line, so silver linings. Let's see about how this works. Yeah, that's actually, I mean, it's not actually working at all though. Why would that not be working at all? Maybe we turn it on? Try to pump it up. Yeah, got brakes. I got freaking brakes. Hell yeah. Obviously pissing out here. That's great news. That means we can carry on. Not far, but we can carry on. Hell yeah. With a quarter of one of the bottles in the system, this development now meant that I could drive the car a short distance if I were to go slow, rely on engine braking, and keep topping up the system. Let's take a little drive around this Servicio place. Yeah, so I basically have to pump the brakes a lot to get any kind of braking, and so, holy shit, that's scary. That is not very nice. At least I can stop the car. It just takes a lot to stop it. Oh. Yeah, I do have some brakes, so that's alright. I drove the car into the town painfully slowly to catch my breath and plan my next move. Alright, some people on Instagram have suggested some fixes that I could try to do, so I'm gonna give them a go right now. One of the fixes is to bend over the brake line and seal it off, which would mean I lose the braking in that caliper, but the rest can retain pressure. So I'm going to give that a go now, see if I can bend that brake line over. At this point, I'm going to be needing to replace that entire brake line anyway, so that's no big loss. The other fixes are, which will be after the brakes, the inversion of the suspension. One guy was saying that I could tie a recovery strap around a tree and bolt it to the shackle and reverse backwards. It's quite a violent method to pull it back into place, and it might work. The other one is put a bottle jack in between the spring and the frame and try that way. So I'm going to give both those things a try, basically. I am no mechanic, just an amateur who's learned a few things along the way. But once I'm pointed in the right direction, I can often tackle most jobs. This is where the power of the internet comes in. I'd put up a post asking for help on my Instagram story earlier this morning, and I'd had a bunch of really helpful replies. So helpful, in fact, that I'm beginning to believe for the first time that I might be able to resolve this issue myself, and can the idea of a risky 40-kilometer drive to a mechanic who may or may not be able to help me. The idea here is as crude as it is simple. Take the broken brake line and bend it over on itself, eliminating braking to that one caliper, but effectively sealing the system again, reintroducing the hydraulic pressure needed to restore braking to the other 3 calipers on the vehicle. Bloody hell. This is true desperation mechanics, a crude and brutal bush fix that won't last long, but will, I hope, get me on down the road to get this taken care of properly. Hey man, that might have worked. There you go. I think that stopped our leaking. So that's now bent over twice. I guess we'll see if that works. I'm going to fill up the system with fluid again. And give this another blast with brake fluid. And I've got pressure. This is how we get out of here. This is how this happens. Right, will I want to bleed all these calipers? I really will, yeah. Alright, so I think I've got some level of braking back. It's I bent that line over. I think it'll get us out of here, which is the main kind of thing. So, you know, even if I've got sort of 75% braking, which I probably won't have, but even 50% braking on what I had earlier on is better than now, so that's good. So now I want to try to use the jack to de-invert my springs. Let's see if I manage to make that a reality or not. Okay, so I've got the bottle jack set up, so I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a try. The idea here is to use the bottle jack between the spring and the frame to use pressure to de-invert the shackle. As soon as I got this set up, I could tell that the dimensions weren't quite right, but I want to exhaust every option I have available to me. Yeah, I don't think this is going to do jack yet, apart from bend my steering arm, which it is doing, so great. It's not going to work, is it? Alright, so the ball jack method of doing that doesn't work, so I'm now going to go try tying a strap around a tree somewhere and reversing back and hoping I'll rip my front end off. That's basically my plan at the minute, which is just mint. I guess we'll see how we go. Alright, so I'm just testing the brakes now, and honestly, pretty good. And they're not amazing, but stop the freaking vehicle, that's for sure, and that's the main thing. So, pretty happy with that. That means that we can carry on. I took a left out of the car park of a residential complex where I've been doing this work, which led immediately into a four-wheel drive track that would take me, if I wanted it to, into a sprawling track network that would take me to the far western reaches of Galicia. I now have some form of braking back, so the immediate crisis is averted, but the suspension shackles are still inverted. This was the root of this entire ordeal, and it's absolutely imperative that I get this sorted before I carry on. I penetrated deeper into the forestry area, gaining altitude on this track network as I look for a suitable tree that I'll be able to use to try out this shackle trick. I need something strong and accessible from the track, and I've spotted what looks like just the one. Okay. This is the tree, stout, strong and healthy, and close enough to the track that I can lash a recovery strap around it to perform this quick and dirty internet trick and see if it can save me from this nightmare situation. Okay. Alright, so basically the idea here is to de-invert these leaf springs. I'm going to try to tie this strap around the shackle itself, around the tree, and then reverse, and hopefully it'll pop this shackle back to the correct position. I'm really hoping this has the desired effect and doesn't just do more damage, because I've already got a lot of damage going on, and we'll deal with the consequences. This is an all or nothing attempt to fix this problem, and the stakes here are high. If this trick works, it'll mean that I can tentatively get back on the road. If it doesn't, the consequences may be more costly than just an inverted suspension shackle. I looped the strap around the tree and secured it with a shackle. I checked the strap positioning on the suspension and got behind the wheel. Let's give it a crack, eh? Here goes nothing, as they say. Might have done. Yes! It freaking worked! No freaking way! Now I just wish that I'd known this trick and done it before all the other damage. Good. I need to do something with that. Rapid. That has been a huge success. Now I just need to flip the setup around to the other shackle, do the same thing on the driver's side, and I'll be well on my way to being out of the woods. Okay, one more. Okay, see about this one then. With a violent clang, the shackle snapped back into place. Hey man, that sounded pretty good to me. Oh hell yeah, they are back to frickin' normal, dude. Alright, this one goes out to Monty Bowen on Instagram, who messaged me and told me that this is a thing that you can do. Huge thanks, dude, because without that I would have been in a worse world of pain than I already am, and I'm already in a world of pain. The only kicker is, if I had have known this trick earlier on, I could have literally just done it as soon as it happened and averted all this bullshit with the broken brake line. All of that could have been avoided. But you live and learn. That is the good thing about it. Alright, well, I'm gonna lock the hubs in. Righto, well, let's carry on then, mate, eh? That had been one of those days that you don't forget in a hurry. Sheer brutality, no brakes, no suspension, and no easy way out. But the show must go on, and against the odds, I'm still rolling, and still headed west. Next time, I reach the edge. This is the far west of Galicia, a place so wild and remote it's become almost mythical. This lost world is home to some of the most extreme isolated points on the continent, and we're exploring it all by four-wheel drive. There's a tree blocking it as well. Couldn't have got up here if I don't want it to. Abandoned villages, crumbling ruins, and the rugged Atlantic coast, where the cliffs drop straight into the sea. The mission: reach the northernmost tip of the Iberian Peninsula by four-wheel drive. This is Spain's true Wild West. No tourists, no tarmac, just storms, solitude, and the long road west to the edge of the world.